Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So I am back. I have been in Laguna Beach for the last 2 days with my husband, Ed, who is there to finish up some of the last of his requirements for becoming a certified warrior trainer, which is a big deal. Ed's been actually leading men through his coaching program called Men of Iron for the last, when did he first do his live event? Like 6 months ago. And has started to build Ed has been building a big following in his other business for a while anyways, and so when he launched this, he had so many men say, yes, please. And I've watched Ed's journey through Warrior over the last 3 years and how much he has really, risen within his life and with us in our marriage together. I mean, really, this is the Women Wanting More podcast, sister, was birthed out of this, of being inspired and hearing Warrior on Fire and hearing Garrett who's the founder of Wake Up Warrior, Garrett J. White, on my husband's podcast like 3 years ago, March of 2015, and just being feeling like just those moments that you have in life that you hear truth. I've had some women say to me when they reach out to me and listen to the podcast, and maybe this has been you, and if you do, I just know I really do appreciate that. You don't have to do those things, of course, but when those of you do and you think it's maybe no big deal, or I'm too busy, or your voice or your feedback, your appreciation doesn't matter, just know it means the world to me, sister, so thank you. But for some of you, when I've responded back, if I've been able to just say, hey, how did you find the podcast? I was searching something and my friend told me, and I just heard the first one, and I was like, I just knew. So it was that feeling that some of you have, that you have maybe had. I had that when I heard Garrett's voice and I heard his message. And so, I've talked about this a bunch of times, so I won't go into the whole story, and this is not the purpose of today, is to go through this. However, I'm home, I'm driving down to pick up my oldest son at school. I got about 5 minutes till I get there. Second flight was delayed. I made it. I went down to try to call her nan and be like, can you actually come back now and pick up Tyson? Because I am stuck on a plane, but got here in time. But here's something that I really want to talk to you about today. So as I got up very early this morning, 4 a.m., actually about 3:50, to grab an Uber at 4:30, get to the airport by 5, and on my flight wasn't until 6:50, and they're like, no, you don't need to. I'm like, listen, I always at the airport early, it's just my thing. I never stress then. I never stress. Traveling by myself, I'll just sit there and do work and have Starbucks. It's beautiful. I'm good. I'm up early. It's no problem. And so as we're going through security, before I get there, because yes, I did get there really fucking early and sat and had a lovely Americano and did some work and did some writing, and it was all good. And as I'm going through security, and guy says to me, how are you? And I said, I'm awesome. And he kind of looked at me, not funny, but almost a little bit of a smile on his face. And I go, you don't hear that often, do you? He goes, no, it was just the way that you said it. And he didn't have to say anything else. And I knew what he meant. And that he heard me say those words. And it's not just how are you? I'm fine. How are you? Awesome. I'm good. I'm good. Where it becomes this flippant response, a knee-jerk reaction. By the way, side note, I realize when I'm away, even though I will be writing and I'm Facebook Living at times when I can and that kind of thing, there is still nothing like me being able to speak into my phone, which is how this podcast is created, and to speak this message to you. I just kind of feel as I'm speaking and not writing. As I'm speaking to you right now, sister, I'm just this feels great. Okay, so back to the story. Back to the story. This is what happens when you're a creator. I need to create on a daily basis. This is work, but it's not a job for me. It's part of me. It's part of me. And my intention is that you feel that when you hear my voice. Anything that you see me do, it's part of me. It's not a job. It's not something I do to gain money. There's lots of things I can do to get money. Anyways, so side note. So back to the story. Side note. This is what happens when you're traveling, you're off routine, and I'm I got 5 minutes, I'll pick up Tyson. Okay, so let me kind of get right on this. So the way that I said the word awesome, yes, there's sometimes we can say things and it's whatever, but I looked him straight in the eyes and I said, I'm awesome. And I meant that. And I felt that. I'm grateful. Now, do I still have problems in life? Of fucking course. Do my husband and I have arguments and collide sometimes? Yup, it's part of marriage. Do I sometimes have some frustrations with my kids? Yes. Am I tired sometimes? Yes. But I'll tell you something. I'm fucking grateful. I am awesome. Life becomes such a gift when you begin to see things in a different way. When you start to move throughout the world with this presentness. Like, you're in the moment. Right now, I'm literally with you, wherever you are, at the gym, in your car, going on a walk, having coffee, speaking to you. Now, yes, I'm also driving the car, so no, I'm not distracted. It's like talking to someone that's in your car, but I literally am in a space in who I am now, that whatever it is that I'm doing, whether I'm with my kids, I'm with my husband on a date night, I'm boxing, I'm having a conversation with a stranger, I'm so in that moment. And I'm so thankful of all of the work that I have done over the years, I continue to do. Because see, listen, thank you, sister, because every time that I speak this message, I actually get more clear. You think this is just for you? Well, let me tell you the truth. It's for me. It's for me too. It's not just for you. I definitely get something from this. And just know it's more than, some of you that listen and send me an email and go, oh my God, I did these things, or oh my God, I'll come to your live event. Let me apply for that. This has changed my life. Those are all lovely, lovely. Really, I know that if you fully plug into the power, sister, that you can possess, that we all have the ability to have as women, plugged in the power that you have as a wife, as a mother, as a businesswoman, as yourself, that there will be more love in this world. Which begins with loving yourself first. It does. And allows you to be in such a place of presentness that I literally feel most days that senses heighten. Now there's certainly some experiences that I feel more of that. I feel that when I box and I train. I feel that way when I'm in the float tank, where it's senses are really heightened. It's a feeling of just being alive. Just being alive. Now, I'm not present in every single moment, of course. I'm like you too. Sometimes you're like, oh shit, I'm thinking about something. I'm maybe thinking a little bit too much about it at times. It's more for me, a lot of the thoughts when I'm not present they're future projected. And it's not, I don't really so much look at the past because I just, there's so many great lessons that happen in what's behind us, and it's behind us for a reason. It's for us to be able to move and be propelled forward. It's not to be pulled back and have this kind of regret and shame and guilt. So none of that stuff is ever helpful. So I just don't have room for that in my life. But I certainly look forward. I do look forward. And I look forward from the standpoint of where am I going with things, with this message, and what do I want my marriage to look like, or I'm trying to figure out things. And for me, time and space is needed for that. So what was interesting is when I was interviewed yesterday, when Ed and I were interviewed yesterday by Coach Sam Falsafi from Wake Up Warrior on the Warrior podcast, which is one of the reasons, which is pretty much the reason I went down to Laguna. And I decided to stay a day and just have a little bit of space for me, as Ed had started into his CERT training requirements, kind of coach assisting, if you will, at the Warrior Week, which is Warrior Week 47. And Sam had mentioned something about us being healers, and then healers as chiropractors, as former practicing chiropractors, and healers in our marriage, and then healing our children. I was like, I don't know about healing, Sam. It's kind of like fixing. But there was something that word stayed with me. And when I've reached out to so many of you and talked about marriage and the things, and I'm like, maybe the message really is to speak to you about, what is the biggest challenge about healing your marriage? Because inevitably, most of you connect with me about your marriage. You might not say it at first, but it comes out in the wash at some point. So I put out this question. I said, hey, what's the question about healing your marriage? Suddenly, you guys are flooding in answers. I'm like, So sometimes the future things I think of are just I'm ruminating. I'm things are marinating inside my head, and so I might find myself distracted at times in thought. I walk with dogs on the beach, and suddenly I'm thinking about other things and ideas and projects and stuff with my husband and conversations, and how can I become more of me, and who do I have to become? But I'll have you just consider that if you come from a place of presentness, gratitude, appreciation, like there's so much in this, sister, and more than you fucking realize. More than you realize that if someone asks you, how are you? And you feel it, right? If I'm not awesome, I don't pretend and go, oh, I'm awesome, I'm good. I just probably just be like, you know, it's okay today. Like, and that's the honest truth. Like, things are just okay, but sorry, big pause there because I'm like, oh shit, turn off the car. Just because I have my phone plugged, I turn off the recording. So yeah, if it's just okay, it's just okay, right? So what is my whole point? Sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'm going to talk about this, and I hit record. Today was like, I'm just going to start speaking and see what really comes to me. So here's what really comes to me with this. Your life is such a gift, sister. It is such a gift. And the more that you can really like understand that and fully live that, and still know that you're gonna have problems, you're gonna have issues, you're gonna have challenges, that is life. But to be in that like just deep state of gratitude about all of this, it will change your life when you begin to shift and see that. When you have things come up and you're like, okay, like this sucks right now. Like this sucks. This is the honest thing, it sucks. But there's something in this for me to see, and I'm gonna find out what that is. So here's your more tip for today. I want you to pull out your journal and say, today I'm grateful for, and start writing one page. Simple, easy peasy. You begin to practice this on a daily basis, and I don't mean do it as a rote thing, but like you can just take moments in your day where you're just like, right now I'm walking outside, about to walk into Tyson's school, and I'm like, man, it is so beautiful. I'm just so grateful to live in Victoria. Like, I love where we live. It's a beautiful day. Like, I'm just in this moment with you right now. So what are you grateful for today? And see what insights really come up for you with that. So 3 things I'm going to leave you with, sister. Number 1, if you're not already inside the sisterhood's going to be growing in leaps and bounds. I would like you to get in on this, because right now you can actually try out the sisterhood for 7 days for just $1. Yes, I changed it from free to $1 because I want you to invest something. It's $1. You are worth $1. And this is for you to really be able to heal through your marriage. This is for you to be able to heal through things in your life. This is for you to really figure out and remember who that you fucking are, and to get some clarity on what you want and why, and to know that you don't have to do this alone. That's why I created the sisterhood. Women that are like you. You are not alone, and this is the space for you to do in this group coaching program. So head over to drkarenosborn.com/sisterhood for that. So that's number 1. Number 2, make sure to subscribe to the newsletter, and that's over at drkarenosborn.com/action guide. I'm going to actually send you to begin the More for Action Guide and video training, which will teach you how to start your day in power, as well as 2 video trainings that are going to help you really understand how to drop the stories that are holding you back and how to create new ones to get what you want within your life, and to be part of the VIP access list for Women Wanting More. So that's at drkarenosborn.com/action guide. And then number 3, I want you over to the Women Wanting More store. And so there's actually some new items that are within the store that's for you to wear who you are. Clothing that really represents how you feel on the inside. It's reflected with words on the outside. A lot of things that you hear me talk about here on the Women Wanting More podcast. So that's over at shop.womenwantingmore.com. And since you listen to the podcast, I'm going to give you 10% off as a thank you. So that'll be on your entire order. And there's also still free shipping with a minimum order. So that's when you go to the checkout at shop.womenwantingmore.com, use the word podcast, PODCAST in the discount code, and you'll get 10% off your entire order. So I will talk to the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from me doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborn.com/newsletter.